Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Claret and Booze. My name's Nick, and this is my daily ramble. What a bloody weekend we've just had, haven't we? My God. Oh, we dragged that one out. But we got it over the line. What a signing. Can anyone really believe what's going on at the moment? I mean, there's loads of theories out there about where the money's coming from, but do you know what? I'm not going to overthink it. For a change, I'm not going to overthink this one. I'm just lapping it up. It's unreal. Just what we needed. It's just a tonic that the West Ham fan base needed, because obviously there is, understandably, a little bit of frustration with the way that we started this season. But what this does is, and this isn't a distraction. This is intent. You know, you don't spend 170 million to detract away from a few bad results. This is obviously, we're going in a new direction now. So, yeah, it has been a tough start. It really has. You know, we've got some tough games coming up. We won a game over the weekend. You know, we beat Villa. Horrible first half. Some questionable sort of selection decisions there, and the way that he set the team up. But he did try something new, Moyes. He did. And then what he did, even more surprisingly, was he corrected it. He corrected it at half-time. Now, you can say what you want about that, but that in itself is a change. You know, we was much better in that second half. But yeah, let's get on with the news of the day. So Lucas Paqueta, he's actually signed. You know, with this is our new record signing, and this is a genuinely. There's been a lot of people coming out saying, you know, he's not world class. Well, define world class. I mean, this guy's got 30 plus Brazil caps. He's pretty much the standout performer for Brazil as well. You know, often outshining Neymar, and when he does play with Neymar, they're on a similar wavelength, which shows you the level of this guy. He's fantastic. Now, I've spoken about him time and time again. I think most of us saw him as well when we played Lyon last year. So I'm not going to go too much into that. But we have gone and got ourselves a fantastic player here. Now, I have learn a few things today. Obviously, what I did know, I knew that he had a relationship with Emerson, which I did make a note of in one of our videos. That, you know, that could have been key. It's always nice when you go to a new club if you've got relationships that are already there, and so that proved to be the case. What I wasn't aware of was at Cornet, Maxwell Cornet. Same thing. They've played 30 to 40 games with each other when Cornet was at Lyon. So we've got three new players there, three big players that have all got an understanding of each other. So we haven't gone and bought three strangers. Yeah, that's brilliant. So it goes to show you that I don't think that's by mistake either. You know, we know that a lot of thought goes into, due diligence goes into recruitment with David Moyes and stuff like that. And when you start seeing links, I was starting to think, no, that can't be a Moyes signing, Paqueta, because it's not a Moyes style player. But when you start seeing links like that, you think, hang on a minute, there's genuinely some thought that's gone into this. So that's brilliant, because it's never easy when you go and get a load of new players coming into a team. The fact of the matter is, it will take a little while for them to bed in. I don't necessarily agree with sitting them on the bench, because I don't think that's a way for them to acclimatise to the Premier League. We saw with Kehrer. Kehrer was thrown in out of necessity. We know that if we'd have had other centre-backs available when Kehrer came in, he wouldn't have got straight into the team. And what happened? His first game was tragic. It was awful. His second game was better. His third game was amazing. That is how you properly acclimatise players to the Premier League. You play them in it. You know, they're not going to learn through watching it. They're not. So I'm hoping that we see similar with a lot of these players, and I'm sure we will. Moyes is going to manage it how Moyes is going to manage it. He's loyal to his existing players. There is nothing wrong with that, but he's got a lot of pressure on him now. He knows that. You know, I think we can see that as well with a lot of the excuses that he's been coming out with, that kind of he's been mocked over, really, to a degree. I think that just shows the pressure that he's under, to be quite honest. He wants time. He needs time. He doesn't want to upset the apple cart with the players that he's got. You know, I suppose if you look at it at the weekend, when he reverted to type, it was the old guard that came on and saved his bacon, really, because you could argue that David Moyes may have been a bit of a dead man walking at half-time. You know, if we'd have lost against Villa and then gone on to lose these next three games, that's 7 games pointless. I think any manager is at risk of losing their job at that point. So I can understand why he feels comfortable with certain players. I can, but when you've got this is a different type of squad that he's got now, and clearly, look, he's been involved in building this squad, but he's got to try and find a way of integrating them. And how he does that, I don't know. The only way that you can surely keep a big squad happy like this is through rotation. You know, you're not going to have many players there that are just going to be happy being B team players, which is our current format. You're either in the A team or you're in the B team. You know, he can't operate like that because he's going to end up with a mutiny on his hands. So I'm hoping that he can find a way to kind of change the mentality of the existing players that are used to that kind of environment, used to being the first names and the only names on the team sheet, and basically try and get us playing as a squad, like a squad game. You know, it doesn't need to be a first 11. It's great that we've got so many players now that have all got a really good shout of being in that first team. Yeah, big problem for him, but it's a first world problem, right? It is. You know, we've heard Moyes kind of bemoaning his lack of quality, saying the squad's gone stale. He hasn't got enough depth. Well, we've fixed all that in one window. We just have. So now what he's got is he's got that transition to make now. And there's a lot of people out there that have been saying, you know, David Moyes struggles. I'm one of them. David Moyes struggles at this part of the league. That, you know, he's as great as he's been for us up to this point, that he's going to struggle to take us to the next level. Well, if the transfer window is anything to go by, it shows he's got ambitions. It shows that he does want to progress to that next level. He's gone out and as he said at the start of the window, he said, you know, managers are, you know, they live or die by their transfer decisions. So make no bones about it, he's not going to get away with wasting, for instance, Scamacca and Paqueta and let it and them failing. You know, that's like 100 million for the pair of them. You know, he's got to find a way of getting them into the team and making them work. They haven't been bought for the Europa Conference League. You know, they've been bought to change the way that we play and take us to that next level. That's what they are. They are next level players. So David Moyes has got a lot of work to do to figure out how he can get these new players in, get embedded in, whilst not pissing off the existing bunch in a regime that was previously set up, where, like I said, you've got your first 11 players and they're not under threat. They're never under threat. Well, now they are. You know, for instance, I love Bowen, but Bowen, if we're honest, Bowen probably could do with being rested. And I'm not going to say dropped, because I don't think that should be our mentality anymore. Bowen should probably be rested and taken out of the firing line for a few games. And somebody like Cornet, who we've brought in, who's looked very, very good in the Conference League games and whenever he's come on, he probably has earned a start in a similar way to what Scamacca earned a start at the weekend. You know? And then you can rotate them. If it ain't working, you put Bowen on from the bench. Again, like I said, it's first world problems. But this is an exciting time, isn't it? I mean, it's unbelievable. What a signing. And this guy, I've been looking at him more and more. He's a magic player. He does feel like the final piece of the puzzle for us. I've said that on a few videos now. He does. Because we've been sussed out in the way that we play. And it isn't the formation, okay? I know I say it all the time. 4-2-3-1, sick of it. It isn't really the formation that I'm having a go at. It's our style of play. It's the way that we attack. And it's our focus of play, which is really simple. It is basically sit deep, get the ball wide, cross it in for a good aerial attack. There is no threat and no creativity through the middle. Now that makes it incredibly easy to mitigate against when you're facing competent opposition. And that is what's happened. We've been figured out. They can afford to double up on Benrahma and Bowen in the wide positions, which is what's been happening. And that completely nullifies our threat because we've got nothing through the middle. They don't have to worry about anything through the middle because there isn't really much happening there. That's not going to be the case now. It really isn't. You know, if Moyes plays the right way, we can peg teams back. They're not going to know. They can't double up on everyone, can they? So now we're going to have an absolute... We're spoiled for choice now in those attacking areas, but Moyes has got to be brave. And sometimes I feel... Especially because I don't think defensively we've been great. Sometimes the best form of defence is attack. Push the opposition back. We've got the players to do that now. Let's cause them problems. Let's give them something to think about. You know, the counter-attacking game with just the wide players isn't working anymore. It's just not. People are respecting us more now. They're not allowing us to play that way anymore. You know, we're not being afforded that kind of that courtesy of being disrespected enough to give us opportunities that we was getting plenty in a game. That's not the case now, and also we're going to be more clinical as well. I don't think we'll need as many chances as we did last year, even though we scored lots of goals. Our sort of chances, goals to chances conversion rate weren't great. I don't think that's going to be the case now. If you look at, probably the best smash and grab merchants in the league, who we're going to be facing on Wednesday, they're a counter-attacking team. They're not really a footballing team. It's more or less what we've been used to forever. But the difference with Spurs and with us is that Spurs only need to create 2 or 3 chances in the game because their players, that's all they need. But yeah, it's I would like to see him adapt to a new style of play. Like I say, just give the opposition something different to think about, and it isn't the 4-2-3-1 formation. You can make it. Any formation will look the same. I mean, the formation that he started off with, it was more aggressive because it was 7 men behind the ball. You know, you kind of, it's style of play. It's style of play and the way that the team is conditioned to play that game. If they're set up to be defensive in a defensive mindset, be careful, don't take any risks, then that's what you're going to get. You're going to get a very cagey game. There isn't going to be tons of chances in that game. Whereas now, to keep these players happy that we've got now, we all saw the frustrated figure that Scamacca cut the other day when he was having a go at Bowen and Fornals around him, because this was after about 40 minutes where he was getting no service. He was getting pissed off. These players are not going to be happy with that, and he probably would have been irritated by the fact, Scamacca, that after he was pulled off, we changed to a style of play, a more attacking style of play, that would have suited him more. That probably annoyed him. And that's probably why David Moyes came out and gave Scamacca credit and said what he said. Scamacca he was feeding off scraps, effectively, in the first half. He had to acknowledge it because these big players, you can't beat them with a stick. You can't. They've got well-earned egos that you have to manage differently. Okay, these are not grateful for the opportunity like David Moyes' usual signings. These are big players. You've got to manage them differently. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. But anyway, great work, great business done in the transfer window. There's not really much else to say on the transfer window, apart from the fact there's rumours circulating that we still ain't finished. And as you can see, we've blown our proposed transfer budget of 150 million. We've gone way over that, and there's rumours that we're going to spend more. I don't know. Don't know whether players are going to be going the other way. Not too sure. I'm not going to speculate anymore on that. We've only got a few days left, so we're going to find out, haven't we? But on to more important things, and that's Spurs' Cup final on Wednesday. Always a tough game. It's going to be probably a bit of a cagey affair because, like I say, typically the way that we play and the way that they play is very similar. Both teams like to sit back. We do, and we like to hit teams on a counter-attack. That's the reason why Spurs have such a good track record against the likes of Man City and stuff like that, because the likes of Man City play into their hands because they are probably one of the best counter-attacking teams in the league. They've only got to create a few chances and bang, bang, smash and grab. They've got to win. They might have only touched the ball 5 times in the game, but that's all they needed. I'm interested to see what we can do here. Obviously, because of what I've just said, you can't be disrespectful to Spurs because they've got that counter-attacking threat. You can't be gun-ho, We're not as we'll get stung if we do that. So I'm not too sure what we'll see. I think it'll be a cagey game. I think there'll probably just be 1 goal in it. Personally, I'm predicting a win after the Villa game at the weekend because I think that'll give us a lift. This magnificent signing on top of the other signings that we've made is going to give the fan base a lift. I think the atmosphere will be rocking inside the London Stadium on Wednesday night. It really will be. I think we'll all be getting behind the team. I certainly will be. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a great game. And I'm not going to judge Moyes on the next 3 games. I'll judge him on performances. I will, but not so much on results. Because you can't expect to go and get anything out of Spurs and Chelsea in our current predicament. We only just managed to scrape past Villa. So we're still kind of, in terms of performances, we're on our arses at the minute. We're trying to get ourselves going. So I don't expect us to get anything against Spurs. I'm hopeful that we will. I am predicting that we will, but that's more hope. That's more heart. That's heart over head, if I'm honest. But nothing's impossible, right? We do tend to raise our game against Tottenham, don't we? And what better way to kickstart your season? You know, then we move on against Chelsea. Chelsea have been a bit of a funny team this year as well, and typically we play well against them. So look, you just don't know what's going to happen. But like I say, I'm gonna try and hold fire on knee-jerk reactions now. Like I say, I'm not genuinely expecting to beat Spurs, so I'm going to give Moyes a little bit of time. I don't know whether the owners are going to give him tons of time now. I don't know what he'll get. You know, I'm assuming he'll get at least until January. And if we're still anywhere near the relegation zone at that point, then he's probably going to be in trouble. But when you look at the players that we've brought in, providing he manages them the right way and he does the right things and he isn't stubborn, we should have more than enough to start picking up some momentum, putting in some great performances and bashing some teams now, you know? We really should have. So, what are your thoughts anyway on the... obviously, everyone's happy with the Paqueta signing. You can't not be. It's an amazing statement of intent from us. And the other thing as well, for me, surely at some point Declan Rice is going to start looking around that changing room, especially if we do kick on and the pieces do click and we start achieving what we should be achieving in terms of performances and results in the league. Surely Declan Rice is going to be having a look around going, do you know what? I think I might stay. It could happen. You don't know. This has been such an ambitious window. I'm not expecting this every year, but look, this is a new era. I know Sullivan and Salthouse have been heavily involved again. But look, the story is that Kretinsky has been driving this. He's been pushing this. He's the man that's been behind the change of intent in this window. So he's been cracking the whip and the results have been beautiful. So the results in the transfer window have been beautiful. But we shall see what happens. So yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on the Spurs game on the weekend. Like I say, I'm going to predict a 1-0 win, a very cagey game. But just a great all-round night out. I think the atmosphere is going to be buzzing in there. I do. So I can't wait. Yeah, good times ahead. I'm feeling positive again. So that's it from me. If you enjoyed the show, then please drop a like on the video because it really helps us. And likewise, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And that's it. Thank you very much. Enjoy your week and come on, you Ans.